media assets ready. Here we go. The consequences of sleep deprivation. But we're back for another episode of East Got Game, where we give you the X's, the O's, and the insights from NBL1 East. Thanks for joining us tonight live on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. And remember, you can follow us on those platforms at East Got Game, or you can continue to find our episodes on your preferred streaming platforms. While you're there, check out Cut to the Jace, a podcast featuring Jason Kadee, and It's a Cole World, a podcast by WNBL champion Beck Cole. Both of them, I think, are currently on a break. I know that certainly Cut to the Jace is on at least a 4-week break, but go back and review some of the previous episodes in your own time as well. It's certainly the end of the season, Lockie, because given that this is our 4th season of East Got Game, I'm still fumbling around with the media assets to get the episodes ready. So it must be time for a break soon.
It must be soon, but not yet, because it's the best time of the year.
It is the best time of the year. It's that final push just for finals time where we obviously everything ramps up for the players and the coaches in terms of performance, scouting, planning. And for us too, with our podcasting, we want to always try and cover as many things as we can, giving its finals time and preparations for commentating games as well. We hope, well, for me anyway, given that our final series is done differently in the North and the East. But because do you potentially have any games coming up?
I've got one this week. I knew I'd have one. It would depend on whether Sutherland boys won or lost last week as to what week it would be. So yes, my final game of the NBL1 East season will be Sutherland-Maitland this Saturday at 6:30.
Whew, what a way to finish another season of commentating the league. Like, that's going to be a huge game. It certainly won't be boring.
It certainly will not. It's going to be very fun. It's funny to say, rematch the 2023 grand final, and the teams have changed a bit, but there's still like a few players around that were in that game. So, the memories will run deep for a few of those boys.
There's still enough players in each team to remember that grand final, where it was, how it felt, especially if you were on the losing end as Maitland were. So, another narrative to be written in the men's competition. But yeah, that's what we'll be getting stuck into in today's episode. We'll certainly be covering, giving a recap of the qualifying finals and the elimination finals that happened on the weekend. And then we'll also be previewing the upcoming semifinals and preliminary finals. But before we get stuck into that, we will be talking about some of the awards as well that have been announced over the last week and how the voting system works for each award. But even before that, I just want to give a quick shout out to Grant Keys, who's one of the colour commentators for the Canberra Gunners. He was on the mic this weekend when the Gunners lost to the Maitland Mustangs at home and very kindly gave East Got Game a shout out and even referenced our point on air, Lockie, about putting Will Mayfield in the post.
Yeah, good. That's so good. Sharing the love. Thanks, Keezy. Appreciate it.
Much appreciated, Keezy. I mean, we say this every season. We're always surprised that people, A, listen to the podcast, and B, probably find some points with us that they either agree, disagree with, or can use in some way. We've even had some coaches chat to us in our Instagram DMs about how sometimes our review of a game is exactly how they saw it, or they've taken some of our tips and scouting notes as well into consideration for their preparations for future rounds. So it's always a massive compliment when we get that feedback. But also lots of broadcasters, whether you're amateur or professional, will kind of take these points from different outlets and not give the original outlet credit. So that was even more of a compliment, I think, that Keezy very kindly kind of referenced us.
Yeah, I mean, there's been on the women's football side, which I'm sure everyone knows I'm a big fan of as well. I used to post live, before they were on the FIFA website, live calculations of the women's world rankings. And I'd post them, and then there'd be a commentator who follows me on Twitter or Instagram, wherever I posted them. It'd just be talking. I'd be watching the Matildas game, and they talk about the world rankings. I'd be like, come on, guys. I know you ain't doing that yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember it even happened in WNBL in a couple of seasons ago where, some of ourselves or our close friends would be tweeting something, and lo and behold, the lead commentator would be saying something, if not verbatim, but very similar.
Yeah.
But there we go. So, yeah, thanks so much, Keezy. We're sorry your Gunners couldn't get the win on the weekend, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But should we get into the awards so far, Lockie?
I think we should, because there's been some awards, there's been some nominations, there's always been a lot of chat about the awards. So...
Always the chat. Always the chat.
Mm.
Good, bad, or otherwise, it still generates conversation. Which reward would you like to kind of start to discuss first?
I mean,
in order of posting, in order of release, I should say, NBL1 East released the Youth Player of the Year for the women's first. So do you want to start there?
I think we can 100% start there.
Yeah?
Yep.
All right. So, yeah, the Women's Youth Player of the Year nominations this year were Caitlin Martin from North, Isabel Smith from COE, Ruby Perkins from Hornsby Ku-ring-gai, Sari Mowbray from Manly Warringah, and Zara Russell from the COE. So pretty star-studded Youth Player of the Year nominations, and all players who certainly still don't play like youth. So I think that's even more impressive. The award ultimately went to Zara Russell from COE, who averaged 16.4 points per game, 3.1 assists, and 3.9 rebounds. Thoughts, feelings, Lockie?
I don't have any problem with it. I quite like the voting process this year. We might get into that a bit more. I mean, they're all great young players. I mean, what more can you say? I don't have any issue with the 5 that made it. I don't have any issue with. I mean, especially the fact that it goes off the top 10 in MVP voting. So you're going to get great players, and it's no real issues with it. Zara had a great season. I mean, so did her teammate Isabel Smith. And I mean. And Zara, I mean, sometimes you get the COE players leave early, but Zara did leave early, but not very early. So, yeah, I think fair enough call, to be honest.
And how interesting that both Zara and Ruby have left the league early to go start their college careers at the same college.
Yes. Very much so, yes. I think Ruby would have been in with a shout as well. Just her impact on that Hornsby Ku-ring-gai team. But Zara being one of the... I mean, she's the only player who actually graduated from COE this year. So her standing there as a leader of the program as well, I think says a lot. And, I mean, it is a combination of objective and, well, I guess 3-2-1 is close to objective, but it's subjective, but there is a quantitative measure as well.
Correct. So congratulations, Zara, for your accolade. And so maybe we'll get into the Men's Youth Player of the Year nominees. 4 of the 5 nominees were from the COE, including Nyon, Dickerson, Fa'ale, Paul, and then Bailey Hanson from North, rounding out the 5. Now, this one certainly generated a lot of chat, comments online saying may as well be a COE starting 5. Simon Caprez must be too old, right? Which I don't know. Look, I'll be honest. I can't tell how old a lot of these people are anymore. It's hard to tell. So for me, Caprez, was he too old?
No, he's eligible. He was eligible.
Right, because he plays like someone that would be too old. So that's why when I saw that in the comments, I was surprised that he would have been eligible. More comments saying that COE shouldn't be allowed to get this award. It's literally the best young talent in Australia. And more saying that everyone else should be feeling hard done by. What was your initial reaction when this 5 was announced?
Look, the idea that COE shouldn't be eligible for the award because it's all the best young players in Australia, isn't that the point of the award, to give it to the best young player? Like, what, Madison Ryan can't win NBL1 South Youth Player of the Year because she's the best young player in Australia? Just because she doesn't, just because they play for COE, it's not like they're finishing 6 and 14 and getting players in the Young Player of the Year award. And the fact that they spread out the MVP votes enough that they could have 4 in the top 10 of under 23 players is, that's solid. I will say that the women's league, there are more under 23 players spread across the league that are doing MVP vote level things, doing enough to get MVP votes more regularly than in the men's league. But, I did like a little bit of maths, like got some efficiency scores, player ratings per game, and took the top 3. And all these 4 COE guys, it's not a perfect analog for 3-2-1 voting, but, it's a ballpark figure. And, those 4 guys were all up there. Prepares, I think, probably hard done by, but tough to get votes when your team's not winning, especially getting 3 votes. Even if you're the best player out there, if your team doesn't win, it's very rare that a coach is going to give the 3 votes. Cam Pender, can we give him a career young player award? Because he's been I'm pretty sure he's still eligible this year. 2004, I'm pretty sure he's born. He's been a finalist every year and lost out to COE guys the last 3 years. So people say Bailey MacArthur, obviously great player. Not sure how many MVP votes he would have got in that Sutherland team. I think Robertson and Spurgeon might have taken up a lot of the votes Sutherland got. So he might not have even been top 10 in under 23s. Don't know, don't have the numbers. If he was and someone knows, let us know. But look, I don't know if... at the end of the day, it was the top 10 MVP voting. Then it went back to the coaches to give a 3-2-1. So the coaches, obviously, between them, decided these 4 COE boys were all amongst the top. And then Bailey Gibson's ex-COE as well.
Yeah. Well, see, I think what we need to remember, I think also, I should say, props to BNSW, because they always cop heat, especially with the Youth Player of the Year awards. They've copped heat for it the last couple of years. I remember when, Anthony Mundine as well, the third wasn't included, I think, last year, and people were upset about it, but that came back on Comets as a club for not nominating him. Things like that. But then, so props to Basketball New South Wales. They've actually put in the post how this is determined. So according to the NBL1 East official Instagram announcement post, it's at the conclusion of the regular season, the top 10 under 23 players in the MVP voting are shortlisted. So it's the same thing like you were alluding to before. You finish a game, you do your 3-2-1s for MVP, and then of that final shortlist, the under 23 players from that MVP list, the 1 to 5 are then the top 5 for this. So it's not like that the under 23 players are judged differently or under different circumstances to MVP of the league. They're in the same pool, then they're separated. So these 5 players have had to make such an impact in their individual games when they're playing against the other players who are under 23 or those that are over, and then it is whittled down to this 5. So I think people need to remember that is how it works. It's not just like willy-nilly, we're going to pick the top 5 on the top of our head who our favorite is of the day.
And I mean, last year the clubs got to nominate one player each, and I mean, Anthony Mundine III should have been nominated over Ethan Martin Coney. I think that's fair enough to say. But
yes,
no matter, I mean, there would have been other nominations that weren't as egregious that people would still be upset about if they knew who got nominated over who. And people are arcing up over this format. They're arcing up over the club's nominate format. What format do you want?
To quote the Notebook, what do you want? That's the only quote from the Notebook I know, and I will not quote from the Notebook again. But yeah, so that's how I think this is a much fairer way to do it. It takes the onus off the club to nominate the right person. Because if you do have, if you are like a team that do have a really strong under 23 group, and you could only nominate one person, like how are you going to do that? Do you be strategic? Do you be fair? So it takes the onus off the club, which I think is a good move. It puts the under 23 players in the pool with the whole league, compare them to the whole league, compare your Bailey Hansons to your Todd Blanchfields, and then whittle it down. It also, in the bylaws as well that we were provided to help talk about this particular topic on the episode, coaches cannot vote for players from their own team. So then the COE coach, after, there's a short list of the under 23 players taken from the MVP list, the COE coach can't then go and put all of his votes on his own players.
Exactly. And also in the 3-2-1 voting per game, they also say the league shall monitor coach voting and where appropriate, votes not cast in accordance with the criteria within the spirit of voting, is empowered to request a coach to recast their votes after a game. So you can't just feed a player 3 votes every game, regardless of what they do. The league's going to be like, no, let's slow your roll here and actually take it seriously. So, because otherwise you could just go and vote, a coach could just go and vote their star player 3 votes all 20 games, regardless of what they do, and just, pretty much guide them to at least MVP shortlist and an All-Star 5 slot. So,
yeah. So they're putting in measures to help avoid it being rigged.
100%.
So sometimes as well, people in the comments read the whole caption.
Yeah.
And then B, don't come at the league for this. Because it's not the league that decided.
No.
But so that I think I'm glad that we were kindly supplied with how the voting works so we could talk about this. And then the winner, of course, was a Jack Nyon. Oh, no, sorry. He was Defensive Player of the Year. It was Alex Dickerson.
Yes.
As Youth Player of the Year. And he's also left COE already, I should say graduated to go start his college career. And he averaged 16.2 points per game, 2.9 assists, and 6.5 rebounds per game for the COE while he was here. And he was a part of the program for a good 2-3 years. So good for him.
And I mean, he won Youth Player of the Year. He played 12 games. Luke Paul played 14. Nyon played 18. And it was Farley was the fourth nominee. He played 15. So imagine the COE tries to strategically pick Nyon or Farley because they played, more games and think, oh, yeah, we'll go the guy who we think was most likely to win it. Well, the other coaches have come out and said, no, Dickerson is the one we like. So, yeah.
Again, not the league, not the COE, but the other coaches from the league has then gone forth and voted in the favor of Dickerson. That's how it needs to.
And the other three COE guys as well got enough votes to be in the top 5 too. So
yeah. So yeah, that's how it works, guys. Let's read the fine print. But moving along, and then after the Youth Player of the Year announcements were the Coach of the Year announcements. So for the men's competition, Josh Morgan from Newcastle, Matt Flynn from Illawarra, Sean Roger from Sutherland Sharks, Tim Hill from Manly Warringah, Tom Garlett from Norths were nominated in the men's competition. I mean, flip a 5-sided coin. For me, it could be any of them. I think as well sometimes the back end of the season with the likes of Miko von Ludus from Crusaders, maybe could have had an edge, but I think by then it's probably too late to call that kind of stuff. With the eventual winner being Matt Flynn from the Illawarra Hawks, win-loss record of 16-4 for the season. I think his time had come. I think it was time for Matt Flynn to win. What do you think?
Oh, 100%. I mean, as you said, there's not much in it. I mean, Tim Hill done a great job with that Manly side. Sean Roger, once Sutherland got all their pieces together, was able to, lead the team to that massive winning run, top 4. Josh Morgan, likewise, in the back end of the season, probably garnered his share of votes from that, coming from absolutely nowhere to be within, a win of making finals. And then Matt Flynn and Tommy Garlett, I mean, tough to split them, but I think Matt's just, the way he's been able to, there's been a little bit of change in the team with Kobe McDowell-White coming out, adding Peatling in, big pieces, but he's managed to make it all work in a slightly different way with, and just the way he's been able to unlock Matt Mims this year as well. I mean, their win-loss record is only one better than it was last year, but it's just the way in which he's done it. He's managed to retool a little bit and get everything working just as well.
I mean, that's why I was still so surprised last season that Matt Mims was coming off the bench and seeing such limited court time, when we were like, I'm pretty sure this guy is capable of more than what we're seeing. And here it is in 2026 with the MVP nomination as well, which we'll talk about later.
I mean, it would have been so easy for when they lost Kobe to just go, right, we've got to go get another guard. And they didn't. I mean, they got Mo Kone later in the season, but it's definitely not the same.
No. So it was just being able to adapt and use what he had and was able to recruit and, still have an excellent win-loss record for the season. So it was an awesome result for him. And then the Women's Coach of the Year nominations were Lauren Curtin from Bankstown Bruins, who we're a big fan of, Melissa Downer from COE, Nate Kerwin, of course, from Manly Warringah, Renee Garlett from Norths, and Rob Merrick from Hills Hornets. Initial reaction for me, no Shaq Shorer. I think that was a big surprise.
That was a surprise for me as well. He can't have been far away. I mean, these 5 coaches, I mean, it's, top 4 teams and then Rob getting Hills to the finals for the first time. So kind of feels like, it just feels like it had to be Rob or Shaq alongside the top 4 almost, as to, who gets the 5th spot. But I mean, don't have to be dead to be stiff.
No, that's right. And so just to clarify as well, the Coach of the Year nominations and ultimate winner is determined by a 3-2-1 voting as well. Just by coaches though, so not by coaches and captains or anything like that, just by coaches. So they all vote for each other, which, can have its own set of issues as well. So yeah, for me, Shaq Shorer, that omission was pretty surprising. The rest though was, not surprising at all, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we want him in, but who do you drop?
Who do you drop? Yeah, it's really tough.
Yeah.
And then ultimately the winner was Renee Garlett from North Spare. So congratulations to Renee with a win-loss record of 20-0.
There we go.
Which is outstanding. Of course, you would naturally, one would think that if a coach is going through a regular season undefeated, Coach of the Year award is warranted. However, we have had this discussion before.
We have.
Where our good friend Sammy Mack went through the regular season undefeated with the Albury Wodonga Bandits, only 2 seasons ago.
Mm-hmm.
and unfortunately wasn't voted in and awarded the Coach of the Year that year, saying, well, basically, I think the attitude around the league from what we heard was that, of course, they're going to be undefeated. You can't not be undefeated with that roster that they had. So they felt like that was almost like cheating. Not cheating, but like not really worthy of a Coach of the Year award, because it's like, how much are you actually coaching a roster like that to go undefeated, so to speak?
Yeah.
Which is, ridiculous, because it then kind of invalidates the other parts of being a coach, of actually making that chemistry and that combination work, making sure that everyone's strengths are celebrated equally. The recruiting, of course, you got to convince these players to come and play.
Yeah.
I mean, convincing someone to play in Albury and spend a winter in Albury versus spending a winter in North Shore, Sydney. I mean, it's a hard sell. No offense to Albury, but it would be a hard sell.
I mean, Albury, lovely place. Great place. Been there in winter. Look, having lived through 3 Wagga Wagga winters, Albury not much different. It's cold.
Mm-mm. Yeah. It would be freezing. So, so that is the debate that we always come up with. And I think at the same year that Sammy Mack missed out in his undefeated season, or maybe it was last year. No, it was last year, where Geelong women in NBL1 South went undefeated in the regular season, and their coach was also awarded Coach of the Year. And had a gun team. Had Jazz Shelley on that team too.
If you go undefeated and you have Jazz Shelley, then you can win Coach of the Year.
Yeah. I think that must be the winning combination. So Sammy Mack, that's where you went wrong. You didn't have Jazz Shelley. Okay, so then we get into Defensive Player of the Year. So I think this time I'm going to read out the criteria. So Defensive Player of the Year is determined by at the conclusion of the regular season, coaches must nominate one player from their team to be voted on Defensive Player of the Year. So just one, which would be tough. The list of defensive players will be made available for coaches to allocate votes collectively with a 3-2-1 format, and coaches can't vote for their own players. So this is tricky, where the onus is on the coach and the club to nominate one person from their team to put forward for Defensive Player of the Year. So that means for the women's, it was Caitlin Martin from North, Kiana McCowan from Albury Wodonga, Olivia Aleknowitz from COE, Shakira Riley from Maitland Mustangs, and Shyla Hill from Bankstown Bruins. And the winner was Caitlin Martin from North, which we love that. We've been watching Caitlin Martin since, for a long time. I remember coaching against her when she was playing for Penrith in under 18s as a junior. And now to see her go strength to strength in the NBL1 East, DP with the Flames, and now rewarded with Defensive Player of the Year. Awesome stuff. Well done, Caitlin. Any surprises in this 5 for you in the end?
I mean, the obvious thing is, and I know it's been brought up in the comments, is no Manly Warringah player. But, I mean, they are the best defensive rating team. But I think what we said over the years about Manly Warringah is their team defense is what gets it done. They play very good defense as a collective. And you sort of... I mean, they obviously have good defenders. Don't get me wrong. Great. I mean, obviously great defenders. But you can't hang your hat on team defense and get upset that one specific player didn't make the top 5 out of 16 nominated players.
Yeah.
It's also the interesting wrinkle here in that North could have just as easily nominated Isabel Morgan for this award and won it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is scary if you are coming up against the North's backcourt. But just an interesting wrinkle in that, in where the teams choose a single player again. And this time, are there other players out there who weren't nominated for certain other teams that we don't even know because the player they nominated finished outside the top 5?
Yeah, that's right. It's yeah, and so the argument here in the comments is like you said, number one defensive team in the league, and then no nominations. They're cohesive and they defend together. They have elite one-on-one defenders. Yeah, they do. They do have all of those things. But if you're only put up with one, like I don't think, again, people are reading the caption in the post explaining how this is determined. Coaches have to have one person. So of that Manly squad, who are you putting up?
Yeah.
Like Nate Cohen will be spoilt for choice.
And you probably almost hurt your own chances because you're such a good defensive team and that, you don't have a standout defender. You walk away from a game against Manly and go, oh, they all play defense really well together. Maybe you don't have someone who shows up as a standout, especially now that you don't have any Henderson in that team.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. She always had the edge, being able to guard, 1 to 5. I mean, Josie Redan is also able to guard the 1 to 5. But is she someone who leads the team, that Manly team, defensively in a similar way that someone like Zoe or Alex would lead that team offensively? Like the go-to? Because any of those players in the Manly team could be the go-to. So I'd be really interested to know who that one player was that Coach Cohen put forward. And they would have been 6.
Oh, I definitely think so.
Yeah. But you make a point as well. Izzy Morgan very easily could have been put in and won, but even Jazz Shelley could have been put in and won. But I was really stoked to see the likes of Aleknowitz and Riley and McCowan. Like just having some new names in the mix in the conversation of who our outstanding players are of the league as a whole. I mean, McCowan is going to St. Mary's for college next year. Aleknowitz literally just won Defensive Player of the Under-17 World Cup. And Shaq's been known just to be a menace defensively all the time. She's the 3-and-D player of the NBL1 East.
And she'll do it all while smiling at you.
Yeah, she's the smiling menace. Yeah, smiling assassin. Defensive Player of the Year for the men's competition, we had a Jack Nyon, Jason Spurgeon, Maddie Waiter, Ryan Beastie getting a call up, which I was a big fan of, and Will Mayfield as well. So in the comments, also some people saying it's about time that Beastie bloke gets some flowers. I say that verbatim. Some people surprised that Mo Kone from Illawarra wasn't in the 5. And what's here again? The one person who's going to comment in the section about Manly, just about the omission of Isaiah Lee. How the coaches have completely dismissed how much of a menace he was against their respective teams is interesting. Well, we probably have to go to Tim Hill to confirm that Isaiah Lee was the nominated player from that team in the first place. You would probably expect he is.
Yeah.
But you never know. You never know. The coaches can keep that to their chest as well. Yeah. So yeah, again, let's read the captions correctly. But this 5, I was pretty stoked for Maddie Waiter and Ryan Beastie to get into the 5 this season. Because again, two guys that have been in this league for so long, consistently good, staples for their respective teams. So it was really nice to see them making the 5 this season.
Yeah, I mean, I've been being at Comets for a few seasons. I've seen a fair bit of Maddie Waiter over the years, and Comets probably could have used him this year, but we move on because now, and he's moved on. He's at North, and he is just tenacious on defense. He is So, I mean, that's how I love watching him play. Didn't love watching him play a couple of weeks ago in Sutherland, but he's just, I mean, you're just right. It's just good to see him getting a nomination as a Defensive Player of the Year, because he's been there or thereabouts for a very long time, and he kind of hangs his hat on his defense, which is something you love to see.
I think what I like about this 5, especially for the men's compared to the women's, is the variety of positions. I think all the women's nominations are all guards. I mean, 3 of the 5 nominations in the women are point guards. And then Aleknowitz can guard, 2 to 4. Shaq can guard 1 to 4, 1 to 3. Whereas in the men's, that was a big variety of different defenders. Obviously, a Jack Nyon, Spurgeon, Beastie playing more on the inside, Mayfield being able to defend inside and outside, and then, of course, Waiter dominating the backcourt. So I kind of like that variation in these nominations.
You could almost call that a defensive team of the year and slot them in.
Well. I do like your train of thought there, because earlier today we did put out on our Instagram stories if anyone had any kind of suggestions or talking points regarding the nominations and the awards. And someone did respond with, when I pull it up. Our mate Jacob Farah, photographer extraordinaire from the Stangers, all-star defensive 5 next year. So just like an all-star 5, should we have an all-star defensive 5? Or essentially, is this it?
This essentially is it, because the all-star 5 now is positionless. If you're talking about an all-defensive team where you actually have to pick 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center, or 2 inside, 2 outside, and then kind of a third guard or a third forward. Why not? Why not? I mean, you already got the votes there. Just tell the coaches they got to pick someone as a guard and nominate them as a guard or a forward, and make sure they're not being silly about it. And, picking a guard as a big just because they're going to get votes and get them in the team.
Yes, well, that has certainly happened before.
It certainly has.
But yeah, this is essentially like a all-star defensive team. If someone's able to do the maths out there to calculate their individual defensive ratings and then put them together and see what this team could be, I don't know if that's possible.
It is, because I know the data is out there. But I ain't doing it.
I don't want to tempt you. Please don't go down that rabbit hole.
I'm not going to.
But nonetheless, Defensive Player of the Year in the men's competition went to a Jack Nyon from the COE. So that's so like we said before, each coach nominates 1 player. He was nominated from COE. Coaches then do a 3-2-1, and the coaches collectively have selected a Jack Nyon as Defensive Player of the Year. So good for him.
Yeah. Great to see. Great work, young man.
And then we've got that's it. Yeah, so that was most of the awards. It's just the MVP to be announced now.
Yeah, the nominations are out.
Yes.
For both.
In due time. I mean, for the episode, obviously.
Yes.
Not for anything else. So for All-Star 5, again, at the conclusion of the regular season, the top 20 players in MVP voting will be compiled in a list that will be made available for coaches to select collectively the NBL1 East All-Star 5 by allocating votes to the 5 different players in a 5-4-3-2-1 type vote. The players accumulating the most votes will be MVP award winners. The players shall be placed in order from the most to the least accumulated votes. So that's a good way to do it, rather than having separate kind of like this one you vote for MVP and this one you vote for All-Star 5, right? Am I right?
Yeah, I was never really a fan of that. And I
Yeah.
actually love this voting format. I like the 3-2-1 during the season because you'll get a ballpark figure of who's been good and it'll give you a good solid shortlist. And then
Yes, because
you can and then go to the vote for what they've actually done throughout the season. Because if you had 10 3-point games, 3-vote games, and then duck eggs the rest of the way, you might still generate enough 3-2-1 votes to be in the top 5 for the season. But did you have as good a season as someone who got, say, a lot of 1 and 2-point games, but not as many total votes? Who polled in 15 or 16 games, but most of them were 1-vote games.
Yeah, that's right. So it's still the coach of each team still award 3 players. They consider the game's MVP after each game, awarding 3-2-1, and then plus the end of season voting for the All-Star 5. But the thing that we always come back to when we talk about awards every year that we need to remember, because there were some omissions. So people, if we take a look at the men's, particularly, some people noticed that Jason Spurgeon wasn't included in the top 10 men's MVP. Also, Will Cranston-Lown, not in there. But you will also notice that no one from Canberra Gunners is in there this season. No Will Mayfield, no Glenn Morrison. So, and obviously 2 from Illawarra, COE, 2 from Crew, which is good, and only 1 from North, considering that they're on top. 2 from North. Sorry, 2 from North. But I think people got to remember as well, number of games played. So there was certainly some players out there who were either injured or away for something else. But also the good point that you always bring up every year, Lockie, is that it's a 3-2-1. And even though you have, say, a big 3 in a team, if there's a day where someone like Will Cranston-Lown he's having a good day, but then you've got someone like Rain Smith, Miles Cherry, Billy Parsons having an even better day, they're going to take the votes over him. So it's all about splitting the votes with your own teammates that are playing just as well on the day as well. So it's not just so much favoritism or something, but it's like, hey, maybe your teammate did better.
I mean, I look at this and like, on the face, like, I'm thinking about like, no Spurgeon seems crazy, but then you see Tyler Robertson's in. And then like our coaches looking at just the run the Sharks have been on since Robertson came in, just his overall effect. And then they're reticent to give 2 Sharks players votes in their top 5 kind of thing. Just throwing out theories here. Same with Cranston-Lown, saw how Rain Smith was. Are they just, reluctant to give 2 players from the same team, votes? And then probably flies in the face looking at, Crew getting 2, but Young and Maker were just such massive parts of that team. Like, that was just about a big 2 a lot of the way for the Crew. So you're probably getting coaches that are like really high on one of them kind of thing. Might have got 8 coaches gave Garrick a 4 or a 3, and the other 8 coaches gave Maker a 4 or a 3 or a 5 kind of thing. Look, this is an NBA All-Star, NBA MVP voting where we get the full breakdown of everything. So I know exactly how many votes everyone got. But look, when you have this 3-2-1 into another coach's vote, there's so many different ways the votes can fall all season.
Yeah, totally. And like, you also don't know what the other coaches kind of value in a sense as well of what they see as an MVP. So if you look at Spurgeon and Robertson in the same team for the Sharks, even if they're making similar contributions when you're watching the game, but it might just be in different ways, depending on what you remember in terms of like what's on the stat sheet, what happened at particular moments. who had, a little bit more of a flashy game compared to the other. Because I can certainly see as well for Maitland with Will Cranston-Lown and Rain Smith. Cranston-Lown's responsibility is more around now controlling the tempo, facilitating, getting other people open. And all of those things that he does well are not necessarily on the stat sheet when you're looking at it at the end of the game. So he might still have, like 14, 10, and 5. But then you look at Rain Smith and he might have like 29 and 8 or something. And like, oh, wow, Rain Smith had 7 threes. That looks good on the sheet. I'm going to put in that without actually remembering who added more to the context of the game sometimes.
And if you're a coach, how many times are you really watching each team in depth? Like a full game?
Yeah.
You might watch their last game when you're doing the scout for your upcoming game, and then you've got your game against them. And then after that, you're probably not watching whole games to see how they're doing very often. So if you only played them once, you might have only watched this team twice, maybe a couple more times if you get the chance to sit down and watch them. And even like the voting, like, it comes down, you look and go, but, you got 2 players who are very similar. They're both on this list. You've got a vote to give. You like, oh, do I pick, let's throw 2 names out there. Do you pick Lockie Hutchison or James Tua? Oh, they guarded each other, Sutherland v. Canberra. Who won that battle? Is that what it comes down to? Coaches have different reasons for voting for different things. Everybody prioritizes different things. And in the end, you've got, 15 points of votes to give out? And this is what we got. Sorry. 15 points of votes to give out, and this is the 10 we came up with.
Yeah. So it's always going to be hard. But I think I can't remember what I was going to say. But yeah, I think of the 10 though, like solid 10. So just to round it out, men's top 10 MVPs in contention for MVP nomination. So we got Fabian Krislovich from Norse, Garrick Young from Crew, Jay Fa'ale from COE, Lachlan Boffager from Norse, Matt Mims from Illawarra, Matua Maker from Crew, Quinn Slazinski from Manly, Warringah, Rain Smith from Stangers, Todd Blanchfield from Orcs, Tyler Robertson from Sutherland Sharks. And I mean, look at that. Like, that's a really solid team. I think it's going to be hard to pick who's really going to run away with it. Do you think it's going to be Blanchfield's again?
Oh, no, I don't. I don't think he could. I mean, he didn't exactly run away with it last year, did he? He won it by a vote. I do think I would say it is probably his. I think if it was on 3-2-1, he might have it by a clearer, just straight 3-2-1. He might even have it on a clearer margin, but the teammate in there always makes it tricky. But I do think leading the team to 16-4. Yeah. You put me on the spot here, Squid. I wasn't expecting a
prediction.
Will Todd Blanchfield win it again, but bugger it, why not?
Look, we won't be placing any bets for sure. We're just happy. We just want everyone to have a good time.
That's against integrity anyway. We can't place bets.
Yeah, correct. He certainly is against integrity, so we definitely won't be doing that. Let's take a look now at the women's top 10 MVPs. So we've got Alex Delaney from Manly Warringah, Emily Lytle from Albury Wodonga, Jazz Shelley from North Bears, Meg Jefferson and Nicole Munger, both from Newcastle Falcons, Ruby Perkins in from Hornsby Ku-ring-gai Spiders, Shyla Hill from Bankstown, Talia Brugler from North, Unique Thompson from Albury Wodonga, and Zoe Miller from Manly Warringah. So given that North are undefeated, they've got 2, which is kind of expected. 2 from Albury, 2 from Manly, 2 from Newcastle, and then we've got obviously 1 from Bankstown and 1 from Hornsby. Pretty expected, I think, for me.
I think so. I love Meg Jefferson getting in.
Me
Absolutely love
too. I was so excited to see Meg Jefferson included. I think she surprised herself as well. Because I sent her a congratulations and she's like, what is going on? I was like, because you've been balling all season.
Do you watch yourself play?
Yeah. Have you seen your stats? Have you watched yourself play? Like, I don't know. Something has just clicked for her this season. She looks way more relaxed. She looks a lot more comfortable and confident in what she's doing. But she's just broadened her game so much as well. Like that game I commentated where they played against Crusaders a few weeks ago, pulling out some guard skills, being able to defend a bit better on the perimeter. No, really, really chuffed for Meg to be making this top 10. But again, this is a tight top 10. But yeah, pretty guard heavy with only with only really 3 4s and 5s included in the mix. I think De Freitas from Bankstown, she must have been kind of close.
Yeah, I mean, between
Shia,
they've got Shyla, Talia, and Margot. I mean, probably again spreading around the votes a bit, and one of them gets a spot. I mean, that as good as Talia and Margot have been, that is. Shyla just has been otherworldly at times this season. There are some teams out there, and we probably mentioned it when we talk about Manly Bankstown, but teams out there that make it hard for everybody else to score, but they don't make it that hard for Shyla to score.
No, definitely. It's pretty tough out there. And also Ruby Perkins in the inclusion, obviously one of the Youth Player of the Year nominations. And then, like we were explaining earlier, how that's actually now determined from the pool of MVP votes. So for her, not only to be in Youth Player of the Year contention, but then now to make the top 10 of the MVP with everyone else, that's pretty good going.
Yeah, it's interesting that I mean, it might come down to having 5 votes versus 3 or who you vote for is that, Ruby got top 10 here, but didn't get Youth Player of the Year. Zara did get Youth Player of the Year, but didn't make the votes here.
Yeah. That math ain't mathin' for me.
Not quite.
No.
But
no.
We'll leave it.
We'll leave it. Yeah. So yeah, that's going to be another close race. And yeah, so that's the last one to be announced. I don't think I have any other further notes from the kind of bylaws around the league awards that we need to share. I think the only thing is for the league awards, it's at the conclusion of each completed season, the league will present the following awards, blah, 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 in the event that 80%, so all of that's covered, more or less. I don't think that has changed too much. But yeah, that's our awards. And I do appreciate the graphics being very clear in what award it is compared to some other conferences where they went with the heading or the title of the award, like being all fancy in the background of the graphic, and I had no idea what award it was.
The player is actually standing in front of the award they won?
Yeah. And so the title is like in the background, almost like some kind of fadeaway thing. And I'm like, I have no idea what that says.
And it says like NBL1 Player's Head of the Year. And it's like, what did they win?
Or the title almost looks like a decoration in the background where it's like on a horizon.
Geez. Yeah.
It's not good. It's not good. But yeah, that's the awards. We'll wait to see. Oh, actually, the one question that we had about said MVPs. With the top 10 in MVP votes announced, will we get a first and second team?
Well, I mean, if it's now based purely on MVP voting, and they're going to announce an All-Star 5, and they've announced the top 10, you're pretty much, by process of elimination, given us our second team. So you may as well just call it a second team and announce it and give them something.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
All right. So any more about the awards before we move on, Lockie?
No, I think that has gone on a lot longer than we both expected it to.
Yes, it did. You are correct. Anyway, let's quickly get into the recap of the qualifying finals and the elimination finals that were. Would you like to do men's or women's first?
Well, I did my notes in the same order as the run sheet, so let's go men's first.
All right, let's do the same order as the run sheet. Who is the first cab off the rank?
The first cab off the rank is the men's qualifying final, which saw Illawarra defeat Manly Warringah 86-65.
Oh, yes. Now, did you manage to catch any of this game?
I did. I watched the condensed game back. I got to see. I did see a little bit of it. I can actually bring up my finals recap notes and not next week's preview. It might help. I thought, I mean, a lot of it, or not a lot of it, but I thought the most intriguing thing was Shamanga getting down low, sealing, getting the ball inside, versus Mason Peatling beating people up the floor at Illawarra, and just it was basically size and strength versus speed. Mason Peatling's not a small man, but compared to Shamanga, it was a very disparate styles between the two big men in there, and I thought it was a very, very good battle. That Peatling won out in the end because he was massive for them. But I did think Manly had some success inside, but I think Peatling was just absolutely massive for them throughout the game. I mean, he finished with 24 and 7, but he was 8 of 10 from 2-point range, and they're not, Manly got height in there to disrupt him, but he was some of those shots he was making were not, they were gliding in and just finishing off the glass. He wasn't even really engaging the defender on every occasion, which was beautiful.
Yeah, he had the magic touch this game, Peatling. Like there was even one drive he did where it didn't look like it should have been a shot. It was almost like a layup he took from the block over a defender, fading away at a weird angle, and it just slotted straight in. Yeah, the gods were in his favor this game. He had 24 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 5 steals, shooting at 59% overall. So it's interesting that the likes of, it's finals time. I always say finals time, the magic happens. Other people step up. Other people have big games. Sometimes the studs, go a little bit quiet. Blanchfield had 10 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, which is definitely on the more quiet side for him. But he didn't need to because you had Peatling on 24, Kone on 21, Mims on 18. Blanchfield, he could just shoot 2 from 10 and his team would still get the win.
That's exactly what I wrote down. When you've got those 4, you only need 3 of the 4 to go well on any given night, and you're going to be right, and more than just right in there. They ended up dominating this game. Very, very good to see Judah Kami in the early stages knock down those 2 early threes. Really set Illawarra on their way. They were his only buckets of the night, but he came out and was like, "Boys, let's go." Just sat there in the corner, buried a couple, and then Ethan Moss came on. He was 1 of 5, but he hit one early as well. Those 2 guys, they only combined for 28 minutes. I've seen them play a bit more total minutes in the past, but as we've said, those rotations get a lot shorter at finals time, but still great pieces to have. Kone 5 of 9 from 3. I mean, Peatling, your bigger men, Blanchfield and Peatling were 4 of 17. The rest of the team was 11 of 25 from 3-point land. So, the other starters stepping up for the Hawks, who I think the biggest stat, 5 turnovers to 17. Illawarra committed 5 turnovers for the entire game.
That's pretty remarkable.
I mean,
Manly didn't. Yeah, sorry, you go.
I was going to say, in a game where both teams only had 10, both teams had the same number of offensive rebounds. Illawarra was still able to put up 18 more shots than Illawarra. Illawarra were able to put up 18 more shots than Manly in the game because they better control. They took better care of the ball.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, it was a real masterclass from Illawarra. Manly, unfortunately, struggling from the 3-point line, shooting only 25%. There was 0 from 5 in the fourth quarter from the 3-point line. And to be fair, Hawks were only 1 of 8 in the fourth quarter as well. But when they shot 5 from 11 in the first quarter, 5 from 10 in the second quarter, that's kind of where you're living and dying by the 3. But then Illawarra went to keep Manly to only 7 points in the fourth quarter, winning 18-7 as well. They had all facets of the game covered in this outing.
Yeah, they're locked in. The Illawarra Hawks. They are coming for it this year.
And they had 945 people in attendance, according to the box score. So I didn't know the Snake Pit could fit that many people in, but they found a way, and we knew it was going to be heaving. And they got over 900 people in the door, so it would have been such a cool atmosphere.
It looked massive, like that space they have down behind the far baseline opposite end of the bar. It's like that looked packed as well. It was just 940. That is really, really, that is just massive. Most venues in NBL1 would even hold 945 people.
Yeah, I don't. That's why I was surprised by that number. But other big numbers at the North Bears Sutherland Sharks game, they had 600 in attendance. So that's pretty solid. North's winning that one 93-79. 3-point percentage was a difference in the game. I think again, finals time. It's anyone's game. Sutherland opening up their scoring with Bailey MacArthur scoring their first 5 points. And then this was the Bailey versus Bailey show for me. Hansen versus MacArthur. Hansen had that buzzer beater at halftime. I just had a bit of a snoop online. He's currently down in Canberra at the Emus camp, Bailey Hansen. Because I tried to zoom in and see who I recognize. I certainly recognize him. Obviously outside the COE roster. But he's going to be an outstanding player. Like, he's already an outstanding player for his age. And the way he carries himself at NBL1 in a team like North against a team like Sutherland, like, he is going to be an awesome talent.
He's there with 3 NBL guys in the starting lineup and another NBL guy off the bench in Goodrick. So just he looks the part in that team. I like that you brought up Bailey MacArthur because so much of what he does is about his explosiveness and his speed, just getting up the floor with the ball. And I really wish the Sharks had Harrison Rayner in this game. I thought that was a big out. If Bailey MacArthur was having that success, who's the other Energizer Bunny in that Sutherland team? It's Harrison Rayner. And he's been in such good form this season as well. I don't know if it would have changed the result considering the margin was 26 at one point, but it would have given the Sharks a real fighting chance, I think.
And maybe just another scoring option when there's so much attention on Spurgeon and Hutchinson and Robbo. And Robbo looked like he was doing most of the wheeling and dealing, but North's defense was pretty outstanding this game. They were wearing him like a glove, like nothing came easy. And even if Wacher was guarding Robbo, at the start of the possession, and then they go and switch, he'd be switching, and then Boffinger would be guarding him, or Mitchell would be guarding him. Like he for Tyler Robertson this game. But then, Walker, equally Lucas Walker, with all of his experience, he was giving Hunter Goodrick a bit of a hard time in parts of this game as well. So giving it right back to him. Weinstein coming in for some good minutes as well for North. But the thing I liked the most about this game from both teams was just fundamentally exceptional. Everyone in terms of, always, like individually, their fundamentals were excellent. Floor spots, spacing, the way people are catching the ball, their read and react, their sharing of the ball. Like, excellent. Just the NBL talent and level of caliber that we expected from this game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Robbo going 2 of 12 from 3, and then you go back to Rayner, who's 50% from three-point land this season. So it's another shooting option out there. But, there's no point in dealing in the past now. Just got to roll up on Saturday night against the Stangers and try to make it 2 from 2 against the team we last played in round 2. So before Tyler Robertson was even with the Sutherland Sharks. So not a lot of form to take out of that previous meeting for Sutherland and Maitland, I don't think.
Nope, not at all. And Matty Wacher in this game having 5 from 8 from the 3-point line, which is probably some of his best shooting of the season.
Well, I mean, I mentioned last week that it was 19 turnovers for the Sharks versus dismal 3-point shooting for the Bears, and the Sharks did rein it in to only 12 turnovers, but 17 of 43 from deep for North. That is night and day to what they produced at Sutherland the week before.
Yeah. All right, and then we had the first elimination final. We had COE and the Central Coast Crusaders. Central Coast Crusaders taking the busload down to Canberra and getting it done on the road, 94-81. The COE had 8 players rostered, but they only played 7. They didn't have Luke Paul available. And Antonio Brown only had 2 shot attempts in this game, which I thought was weird. Luke Cassidy for the Crusaders had 11 of their team total 25 assists. Spook going to do what Spook does. And Crew had heaps more passes inside in terms of using their team play and their ball movement a lot more. I noticed that COE scoring options were mostly just from one-on-one opportunities.
I find it so interesting that you're running with 7 players and a guy like Antonio Brown gets 2 shot attempts all game.
Yeah, that was really odd. Really odd.
I think COE were really up against it, only running with 7, just against this Crew team that is known. A game could go to quadruple overtime and they'd still be out there just getting up and down court just fine. I mean, they didn't really go that deep into their bench right until the end. I mean, Schwabe and Redhead were the only 2 guys who got big minutes off the bench, but they're just they can just run all night. And those kids are young and fit, but when there's only 7 of them, it's tough. I think that bore out in the way that both halves were where the end of each half was when Crew really started to break away. Late in the second and then late in the fourth, they really broke it open in both times.
Yeah, and COE even resorting to a zone for parts of the game as well, perhaps just to help slow down the Crusaders or conserve some energy a little bit. But nonetheless, Crusaders still had 58 of their 94 total points from the paint. And they finished that last quarter winning 16-23 in the fourth. So, things are really clicking for Crew right now. You know, Matua Maker had 28 and 14 shooting at 65% from the floor overall. Garrick Young had 20 and 8. And Hayden Gunderson, not Hayden Gunderson, had 14, 2, and 5. He's got to be like breakout player of the year if there was such an award.
He has been massive. And I love watching Maker in this game. He was just, I mean, wasn't any different to what he does in a lot of games, but I've just really come to like watching him this season. He's, you know, these big men that are light on their feet, agile, finish well. It's pretty to watch.
Yeah. He's a welcome addition to crew. Hopefully they can get him to stick around again for 2027. Did you have any other notes from this game before we keep rolling?
No, not really. I think, just like I said, I just think COE were really up against it. I mean, it's tough that they come into this part of the season and they've only got 8 and they only ran with 7. It's just less than the game, just more the situation is what annoys me. And it is what it is. It happens every year. And I mean, what can you say?
Poor guys. They'll be okay.
Yeah, they'll be okay. I'm sure they have bigger things coming in their careers.
Yeah. And the other elimination final was 6 versus 7, which was the Canberra Gunners versus the Maitland Mustangs. Canberra losing at home 94-70. We always talk about how well the Canberra Gunners can close out the fourth quarter, but they had a lesson handed to them with losing the fourth quarter 8-25. Which is probably, now they know how it feels when they deliver that to other teams. But again, their scoring just completely dried up. And I think that was a problem that we had seen in the back end of the season, and it had come to haunt them in this elimination final, unfortunately.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, keep talking about Canberra's outs, Glenn Morrison and Darnell Hoskins, both out. Just makes it so difficult. Against Maitland's probably the team you least want Hoskins and Morrison to be out against, with, you know, Cherry and then the backcourt of Cranston, Lown and Smith. I mean, Miles Cherry with no Glenn Morrison to disrupt him. 10 of 10 from 2-point range. And from what I saw, I don't think many of them were outside about 9 feet.
Oh, no, they wouldn't have been. Like, that's, I mean, I think I recalled a couple of episodes ago how Cherry, for a whole season up at one point, had taken 2 shots outside of the key.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull it up. Okay. Oh, yeah. Everything came under the basket for him. The furthest he got was halfway between the charge circle and the free throw line.
Mate, we can't be having you taking these heave shots, mate. You need to get closer.
What kind of skyhook was that, Cherry?
Yeah.
No, it went in, so who cares? But 10 from 10, that is an absolute clinic. He's an absolute clinic of a post player. 22, 7, and 4. So he can pass as well, getting 4 assists. Rain Smith had 24, 3, and 6. He was 50% from the 3-point line this night. We were 6 from 12. And Cranston Lown had 17, 5, and 8. So, yeah, Maitland certainly quite a dominant and confident performance from them.
Rain Smith, 6 of 12 overall from 3-point range. 4 of 5 from 3-point range in the fourth quarter. And if you look at that shot chart, some of them you wonder if they've almost misclicked on the shot chart, because he is taking them from a long way out. But you watch it back and no, that is where he was hitting them from.
Yeah, it was quite extraordinary. It's really extraordinary across a few games now how the 3-point percentage has improved or been the best of the whole game for some teams in the fourth quarter when people are supposed to be the most tired.
But sometimes you take advantage of that when the defense is the most tired.
Yeah, that's true. That is also true. Also
you've got to take advantage is the thing, and Rain Smith certainly did that.
And I think to the Stangers' credit as well, they only had 10 turnovers for the game. forcing Canberra to throw 17 turnovers.
And I'm pretty sure I wrote down, let me check. It was, yes, Maitland turned 17 Canberra turnovers into 15 points.
Mm-hmm.
Canberra turned 10 turnovers into 0 points.
Yeah. So that certainly comes into it as well. As well as, well, Canberra got to the free throw line more times, but Maitland were 13 from 14 from the free throw line. So, yeah, well done, Maitland. The story continues.
I mean, we've seen teams make and win grand finals from the bottom half of the top 8 before. Why not?
Well, didn't they do that in 2023 where Maitland came like 8th and then they ended up beating Inner West in the first round, where Inner West came 2nd?
Yeah, so that grand final was actually 5th place Sutherland versus 7th place Maitland, where all teams from 5th to 8th tied. That was the 4-way tie for 5th. Yeah,
what a time. See, this is why we love finals time. Anything can happen. But yeah, so now the matchups for next week is going to be Sutherland Sharks, Maitland Mustangs, as you mentioned earlier, and you'll be on the call for that. And as also you mentioned earlier, the only time these two teams met in the regular season was in round 2, where the Sharks won 93-79 without Robbo.
Yes, and they won that. Sharkies looked dead in the water, pardon the pun, in that game. They were down 52-37 at halftime and won the second half 56-27.
Oh, 56.5 is outrageous.
We were, in the first quarter, we were making NBA Jam like on fire jokes about Rain Smith. I think Maitland hit 6 of their first 7 threes. Rain Smith came out firing. Dan Milburn followed. They just couldn't miss. And, it dried up for them in the second half and Sutherland came over the top. Also in that game, I think it was 31 free throws to 28, though. So when they weren't hitting threes, they were fouling each other.
Wait, so that means that you had over 50 free throws in the game collectively. Did that game go for like 4 hours?
I think if Sutherland weren't like storming home in a massive comeback, it would have been one of the most infuriating games to call.
Oh gosh, that's a long game. Stop, start.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. Ugh. Not fun. So that's going to be good. You're going to be on the call. Very, very exciting. So the winner of that game goes on to play who?
Did I write it down? I did. The winner of that game will go on to play Illawarra.
Woo.
So Sutherland win, we get I don't think you'd play for the Freeway Cup, but it would be the Freeway rivalry for in the prelim for a spot in the grand final. And then Illawarra Maitland at the Snake Pit. Two regional heavyweights going at it. So stories either way.
The battle of the black and the red and the white.
Oh, yes.
And then our other matchup is Manly versus Crusaders. That will be also at Manly. So Manly are the only team next round that are going to have 2 home games for the next round as part of finals. So that's going to be a good night out. Let's hope that they can get more than 170 people to this game.
Is that what they got to their first round matchup, was it?
Sorry, I overquoted. Attendance recorded on the box score for the Manly Warringah Bankstown Bruins women's game on the weekend, which was a high quality game, 125 people.
Come on, fam.
Come on, Manly fam. Come on. I'm just hoping that they miscounted.
Manly family. You're meant to be
Manly
family.
Bring in the family. Where's the family? Call the family up. Get them there for that doubleheader this weekend. So Manly men versus Crusaders men, obviously. The last time these two teams met was only in round 5, and Manly won at home 82-71. Crusaders didn't have Matua Maker. They had Seth Chapman, but Seth Chapman, I think, is now injured. They also didn't have Garrick Young.
You basically throw the form book out then from that result.
So that's right. Down by 11 away. and you didn't have your 2 MVP nominees. This is a whole new ball game.
The interesting thing I noted in that game was that Aaron Redhead had 19 points and 17 rebounds in that game. So he stepped up massively and also held Shimanga to 9. Shimanga got 19 rebounds, but held him to 9 points. But Slazinski in that one, 36, 5, and 7, and 3 steals. He was feeling it.
So my question is, from the Crusaders, who's going to guard Slazinski?
Garrick? Who knows?
Yeah, that's that. But then Garrick's also got to get it done at the other end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's going to get it done at the other end? Who's going to guard Slazinski? That's a toughie, because I mean, Crusaders also now without the someone of the same skill set and body type as Sharif Saipaya could have been good, but he's not there anymore.
Yeah.
I think someone like Hayden. It might have to be Hayden Gunderson, because he was tasked with guarding people like your Blanchfields and such in the past, but I'm not sure if he's got the same size. Like Slazinski looks like he's got the body of like almost a power forward, but plays like a shooting guard, small forward.
Yeah.
He's got that versatility. So I'm going to guess it's going to be Gundo.
You're the crew expert, Squin.
Oh, I don't know if I can say that anymore.
No, you definitely are. But
yeah.
Yeah. Also in that game, the last time they were out, Manly easily won the turnover battle, got more O boards, took 22 more shots than Crew. It was a bit up and down for Manly, but Crew gave them more shots. At the end of the day, even if you shoot a little bit worse, the team's going to give you 22 more chances to put the ball in the basket. You're going to win a lot of games. Yeah,
22 more shots is a lot, and then to win by 11 as well. So half a point an extra shot. All right, so we still need to discuss the women's matchups that were of the round? We do. All right, let's get stuck into the women qualifying final.
First we better say who the winner of this game is going to play.
Oh, of course. The winner of this game is going to play
North.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Sorry to Maitland and Central Coast fans, but can you imagine if the prelims are Illawarra Sutherland and North Manly?
I mean, the script is written. The script is written for these rivalries to meet each other in the preliminary finals.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. But look, the rest is still unwritten, as Natasha Bedingfield said. So don't take our
great song
kind of narrative of these continuing NBL1 East rivalries as certainties for the preliminary finals. But yeah, geez Louise, we will be spoilt either way, I think. So North will be waiting. I'm sure that they'll be watching the game live as well. But yeah, sorry, into the women's qualifying final. Qualifying number 1 was 1v4 North Bears versus the Center of Excellence, and North just took them apart, winning 95-54. Not a result I was expecting, like by that margin.
53-15 after halftime.
53-15
against the team that was leading the game with 75 seconds left in the first half.
That's 15 points in the second half is unheard of. I mean, for a COE especially, 15 points in the second half collectively.
Yeah, after putting up 39 in the first half.
That's, there's going to be some tape. There's going to be some self-scouting watching back on that game. That's outrageous.
COE, sorry, go on.
No, I got nothing. You keep going.
I was saying, COE, 9 3-point attempts for the entire game.
Yeah, I also noticed that too. and they were only 2 from 9 as well from the 3-point line.
Yeah.
Given that the style of play at the COE is either on the rim or taking a 3, that's really surprising.
Yeah, I mean, it leads to predictability as well. If the defense knows that at the end of the day, you're throwing up into the game, the defense knows you're probably not going to be taking the 3. They can just defend accordingly. Predictability is the worst thing you can have.
Yeah, it was, another defensive masterclass from North. They shot the lights out as well from the arc, 17 from 36 overall for the game, including 5 from 9 in the second quarter alone. So that's 47% overall from the 3-point line compared to COE's 22%. Shelley had 32 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals, and was 6 from 14 from the 3-point line. But going back to that whole on the rim or shooting threes from COE, 42 of their 54 points were from the paint.
Yeah. I mean, they got the on the rim part right.
That's right. They just needed to kind of improve on the other areas. But it was really interesting. They only had COE only had 59 shots as a group compared to 82 field goal attempts from North.
Yeah, well, 19 0 boards to 6 in North's favour and 11 turnovers to 22 in North's favour as well. So, like I said, in that Manly Central Coast game, you just keep handing the ball to the opposition, especially against a team like North who, outshot them from the field. Didn't outshoot them from 2-point range. Definitely outdid them from 3-point range and got to the line more often. All just came together for North, and you think at halftime you're up 42-39 to this COE team. They beat you last year in the prelim. You've got an undefeated record on the line. There's probably a lot of talk in that locker room at halftime about we got to win this thing. Leave no doubt. It'll be like hark back to the 1980 Winter Olympics, the Miracle on Ice, because the Miracle on Ice happened in the final game, in the second last game. The Americans still had to beat, I think it was Finland, in their last game to win the gold medal, even after beating the Soviet Union in the Miracle on Ice. And they were trailing Finland at the last intermission. And the coach absolutely ripped into them and said, if you lose this, you will take it to your graves. And I don't think we're at that part yet with North. But I dare say, at halftime, they would have been saying, look, we're not going to let everything that we've done, a 20-0 season, fall by the wayside against the team that beat us last year in the prelim.
Yeah, get it together. Get it together.
And they got it together.
Because they ended up limiting the likes of Isabel Smith to only 8 shots, Aspen Crace 7, Olivia Aleknowitz only had 7 shots. There was no one on the COE that had double-figure field goal attempts. Like you said, ended up causing 22 turnovers, which is one thing, and then just completely suffocated them defensively to limiting their shot attempts. And then that's how you limit a team to 15 points and a half.
And the funny thing is, when I was watching the early stage of this game, I was like, Isabel Smith's looking good. She's going to make things happen here. And in the first half, she was. And, COE were hanging with them. But I really think the game illustrated potential versus a team of players that are already the finished product.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's a good point, actually. Yeah. Okay, and then moving on to the next game. This one was also quite entertaining. It was Manly Warringah Seagulls versus Bankstown Bruin Women. This was the qualifying final 2 versus 3. and Manly lost at home 91-82. Did you catch much of this one?
I did. Yeah, I did watch a bit of this one. In between trying to rest up for what I had on Sunday, but by the by. Loved DeFreitas in the pick and roll early in this one. She was on song. I think, well, probably conspicuous by her absence, Josie Redan. I dare say that is something Lauren Curtin focused in on. No Redan, try to exploit the pick and roll a bit, because I think that is just where Josie excels so much over anyone else. Honey Badger, Kim Dickinson, great player, but little bit different to Josie, and I think great coaching to make sure that they got that locked in early and made sure it was there when they needed it. You know, they got it going early, but and then it kind of just gave way to Shyla Heal dominating. That's all you can say about her performance. Was absolutely dominant. I mentioned it earlier that Manly made life difficult for that Shyla. The defenses make life hard for everyone except Shyla, and that was pretty much Manly today in this game. Sorry, because Shyla was making her shots, creating for herself, ridiculous step back threes on occasion, getting to the rack. Just Shyla Healer at her absolute best.
Well, yeah, she had a near triple-double. She had 34 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. The Bruins, as a group, had 4 players in double digits, including also Tupaya, had 29 points. As a group, the Bruins were 43% from the three-point line, shooting at 13 from 30, and Tupaya, as an individual, was 5 from 7. The commentary often saying that this is vintage Tupaya, just managing to find ways to score in any which way. Even she's just so good at drawing contact, and obviously get to the free throw line. But to Manly's credit as well, they only had 9 players on their roster, which is tough at home. You know, you kind of, at home you have the flexibility of having the 12.
Yeah.
But they only had 9 players on the roster, only 7 played. And unfortunately, Brie Delaney got into some foul trouble, so she only played 19 minutes because she was fouled off, unfortunately, because it looked like the part of the game I saw did look like it was getting a little bit out of control with the fouls they were calling.
Yeah.
So I could see how lots of people were getting in foul trouble. But yeah, of the 7 players that played for Manly, 4 of them were also in double figures, but just not their best shooting performance from the three-point line. With only 36%. I mean, that's not bad. But like
it's not bad, but you got to look at it relative to the opposition who hit 43%. So
yeah.
I mean, I wrote down in no way did Manly have a bad game.
No. This was one of those games where it was an arm wrestle until the very, very end, and even though Bankstown won by 9, I feel like that buffer of 9 was only really achieved in the last little bit of the game. Like it got to a point at the end of the game where you still weren't sure who was actually going to win.
No, because I think it was a 4-point game with 2 minutes to play.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It was still really close. Yeah. And then rolling on, elimination final, 5v8 Albury-Wodonga Bandits at home against the Hornsby-Ku-ring-gai Spiders, winning 73-61. No last tier POA for the Albury-Wodonga Bandits. But Albury still able to get it done. Lytle, Thompson putting up good numbers for them. Very low scoring third quarter in this game, though, only 16-9. So neither team really feeling the championship quarter at all. And Christina Moore stepped up for Hornsby, having 21 points and 7 rebounds.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of the story of the two understrength, or from what we've seen at their best understrength. As you said, no LT for Albury, and then obviously no Ruby, no Jessie May still for Hornsby Ku-ring-gai. So, yeah, it was interesting. It was a really low scoring third quarter. It was Hornsby shooting 16% from the field for the entire quarter.
Mm.
So it's not healthy. And 10 points in the paint to 2 in Albury Wodonga's favour in that quarter. And Hornsby only had 14 points in the paint for the entire game, which I guess when you've got Unique Thompson there patrolling the paint, that's one thing. But when you've got Ayana Bay and Christina Moore in your lineup, you'd think law of averages almost suggests you're going to get more points in the paint than 14, even against Unique.
Yeah, it was a bit of a funny game, like statistically, I think. But Albury as well. They also had 4 players in double digits. So they had obviously Lytle flirting with a triple-double, 14 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists. McCowan had 15 and 3. Coleman had 12 and 4. Thompson had 14 and 15. So really still relying on their main players, understandably, to get this one done. But yeah, and then, Mead and Bay had 13 points apiece as well for Hornsby. Just seemed like, I don't know, statistically, I don't think I could find anything really that stood out other than that third quarter being really low scoring.
Yeah, Mead came out firing early. But, the Master Avenger there, finishing with 13, 6, 4, and 2 and playing all bar 13 seconds. But and Leah Hartman only playing 12 minutes. Did have 3 fouls, but only playing 12 minutes is tough. They too only used Genevieve Audette played 3 minutes, but for much of the game only used 7 players. Did the Spiders? Whereas the Bandits, Mahadi and Hocking both played 23 minutes apiece, so definitely getting more out of their bench, and then Quintal, Kotzer and Lowe all chipping in there with minutes too. So interesting one. Great that you can have 4 players in double figures even in such a low scoring game as well. The players are still able to no LT, and then everyone was just able to, we can recreate her in the aggregate, to steal a line from Moneyball.
Yeah. And then the lucky last one, elimination final, 6 versus 7, Newcastle Falcons versus the Hills Hornets. Newcastle winning 69. Wait, have I got the right thing up? Yeah, 69-61. So it definitely wasn't, we knew it could be close. We knew that the Hills were really going to take it to Newcastle despite having to play an away game. Fourth quarter, though, 9 points apiece.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Running out of gas.
I was a little scared watching the first few minutes of this one because it was 11-0 Newcastle to start. So I was worried that, the Hills might be a little bit I know they've got players who have been there, done that, like Kirasome, Kalea, Anderson. They've been in big moments, but there's something about your club's first finals game that, can hit. I was like, but they got the nerves out the way because they brought it right back, did Hills, after being down. They were down 11-0, sorry. And they actually led at halftime. Did the Hornets. They really brought it back well. Kirasome started hitting things, especially getting close to the basket. Anderson doing the same. Ella Gale's always good for double-digit rebounds. Again, averages a double-double this season. Ella Gale, the most 2 seasons in a row, most under-the-radar double-double average player you will ever see. But, yeah, that 9-all in the final quarter, that's... 1 of 7 from Hills from three-point land. The Falcons didn't hit a 3 in the final quarter. I wrote down that fourth quarter for the Falcons is less of a problem in the game that happened and more of a problem going forward.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they, like you said, Hills were up by 2 at halftime, and then Newcastle won the third quarter by 10. So put them up by 8, and then they were just able to maintain it for the whole fourth quarter. But in that third quarter, Newcastle won the third quarter 26-16. They hit 4 from 8 from the 3-point line, so that certainly helped. Whereas I don't think Hills in the third quarter from the 3-point line were only at 20%. So certainly giving Newcastle the edge there to help them maintain. I mean, credit to them, though, to be able to maintain the 8-point lead, making that 10-point turnaround and then maintaining it.
Yeah.
But yeah, 9 points in the last quarter is very unheard of. But Munga almost had a triple-double, 25 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. Meg Jefferson had a double-double with 17 and 18. And from what I could see on the shot chart, all of the field goals made in the second quarter were by Munga or Jefferson.
Wow.
Yeah. The whole second quarter was just between those two.
I mean, it was funny because we were talking last week about when Newcastle win, all 4 Munga, Jefferson, Kingham, and Heidi all, produce. And then when they've lost, it's Munga and Jefferson have been higher scoring or about the same, and it's been Kingham and Heidi who have dropped off. But Kingham, one of them put up good scoring numbers again. Kingham came out to hit 4 of 8 from 3 and finished with 16. And Mia Heidi didn't have much scoring, but her passing out of the post was beautiful at times and finished with 4 assists.
Yeah, and then in the fourth quarter, Munga didn't hit a field goal in the fourth quarter, so it was Jefferson, Heidi, Kingham, and Bond hitting the field goals in that fourth. So I mean, Newcastle kind of showing their depth there, I suppose, as well. But I just thought it was interesting that Munga and Jefferson hit everything in the second quarter for their team. Newcastle, though, uncharacteristically had 18 turnovers. But then points from turnovers, Hills only had 7, so didn't hurt them too much. But yeah, I don't think I had many more notes from that particular game. Did you?
No, like I said, I'm just more concerned about the 9 points in the fourth quarter because they'll play Manly in the semi-finals.
Yeah.
And last time those two teams met, Newcastle scored 9 points in the fourth quarter.
Oh, on that court as well.
And Manly scored 19 and got the win.
Yeah, that's right. So I need to now resort to my notes of the last time that they played. So yeah, the matchups now are going to be North and Bankstown obviously go straight through and have the week off. Next round, we're going to see COE Albury, and they also have some finals history against each other.
Just last year, that was a cracker of a game.
And the year before as well, I think.
No, did it? I know they played in the men's the year before, but I don't remember the women's.
Wasn't it their undefeated season in the undefeated season?
No, they lost to Sutherland in the undefeated season to knock them out.
Yeah. And then also, like you said, Manly Newcastle in the other final.
Which is also history from last season.
Yep.
That was Susie Wormsley's last NBL1 game.
Yeah, it was too. But the last time COE and Albury played in the regular season, Zara Russell was suiting up for COE, and obviously she won't be there. And the COE were able to keep Unique Thompson to only 9 points.
That was because when I saw the result, I saw COE 86-53. I wanted to dig into that and be like, did I miss someone not being there for Albury Wodonga? But no, COE really did just hold Unique Thompson to 9 points.
Yeah. I can't imagine that will be happening again. But that was pretty impressive. And then, Manly Newcastle, the last time that they met, Manly were able to limit Munga to only 10 points and 8 rebounds. But I imagine the likes of Josie Redan was probably tasked with guarding Munga for most of the game. So be interested to see who's going to be matched up on her now. But Zoe Miller had 21 points and 5 assists because she loves popping off against Newcastle.
She does. That is Miller time.
That is Miller time. Newcastle didn't have a very good shooting day, though, from the arc that day. They only had 20% from the three-point line, and Manly had 29% from the three-point line, but they had 4 from 8 in the fourth.
Yeah, I don't think it was a performance either team would have been happy with on that day, in all honesty.
Yeah.
I mean, Heidi almost had a double-double, but fouled out playing 24 minutes. And I think both teams shot under 35% from the field in that game as well for, across the floor. So,
yeah.
I mean,
Newcastle shot at 31%. Manly shot at 34%. It was, it didn't look like that didn't look like either their best game. Yeah, it looked like a bit of a scrap. Yeah. But again, Saffron Shields has been on the list again. She was on the list again on the weekend against Hills, and it was a DNP. Are we going to see her this time?
I don't know. The thing is, now she's qualified for finals. They don't need to put her on the list if she's like not going to play. Like, she is qualified for finals. Maybe just put her there and let the opposition wonder.
Yeah, that's it's always the hovering threat if Saffron's going to play. All right, so we've got some great matchups ahead of us. So just to recap, in the men's competition, we've got Central Manly Warringah Seagulls and Central Coast Crusaders, and then we've also got the Sutherland Sharks and the Maitland Mustangs. And then for the women's competition next round, we've got COE, Albury, and Manly and Newcastle.
And interestingly, the Manly 2 games that up at the Nesta is on the Sunday arvo.
Oh, okay.
1 p.m., 3 p.m. on the Sunday. So I know Metro Junior League finals finished last week. So hopefully there's not too many, juniors forced to travel away for junior reps. I don't know if Junior Premier League finals are this weekend, maybe. So don't know how many teams Manly have in that, but it's Manly, so they probably got a couple at least. We'll see. Hopefully, because that's up at Newcastle and Maitland. So hopefully those Metro Junior League teams can spend their Sunday off going to watch the NBL1 teams.
Let's hope so. Let's hope they get more than 125 recorded people in the door for this game.
You'd hope they would.
Surely. Otherwise, we have lots of games to look forward to. And then obviously the preliminary finals will be held on the 8th of August until the grand final on the 16th. So it's coming to the pointy end, but we've still got some exciting games to watch next round.
We certainly do. And do have one other piece of news. Davidson, Aspen Crace, verbal commit to the Wildcats. So the jersey is back up. So congratulations to Aspen. Yeah, it's just a verbal commit at this stage. So, but fingers crossed. As a Davidson fan, my forearm and I are very happy at the news.
Yeah, really good. Very good school. Very good school. Great recruit as well. So that's super exciting. I hope it all follows through for her. But otherwise, have you got anything before we finish up for tonight, Lockie?
Don't sleep on the East.